Hello, welcome to another Alpha Strike We Play video. My name is Adam, I'm the owner of Alpha Strike Games and Hobbies, and this is my friend Tarron.
Hey buddy, I like playing games.
He does. Play him a lot.
A lot.
Right, so we're going to continue the series of Mythos, and we're going to have a look at the Brotherhood of Belial.
I should have been a handle. They're really cool.
They are very cool.
They're really cool. I mean, just before we get started, I'm going to say this is one that is it George?
George, yes.
George,
yes.
Great paint job, man. Really good.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the little Alsatians, German Shepherds.
The little German Shepherds, yeah.
They're just insanely cool.
What is his name? They're
Shadow and
it's on the back here.
Shadow and Storm. Yeah.
Shadow and Storm. I don't know which one's which, but they're identical in the game, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah, George was saying that there's quite a variety of colour schemes for German Shepherds. He did a bit of
That one's Shadow, that one's Storm.
Okay.
Okay?
Storm looks a bit more energetic.
Yes, he's probably got someone patting him. Oh dear. Anyway,
yeah.
Sorry, that was an aside.
So Brotherhood of Belial.
Yes.
They're quite interesting. So they're headed up by a gentleman, Jim Duggan, who's this guy here.
Yeah.
Yep. So what's happened is one of the towns was struggling a little bit with the crime, and he was called in with his team. And apparently all the trouble was by a cult for Belial.
Ah.
So when he came in and messed all that up, Belial said, look, I don't really like that going on.
Go, look, man.
And he cursed them.
You're going to be my people.
Yeah. So they're still police and things like that, but they are heavily influenced by Belial. So I guess they get a bit heavy-handed when they're dealing with people and whatnot. But I don't know, they're embracing their abilities and whatnot to continue the fight for good.
He's got a freaky eye thing, and one of the dudes has turned into like a big vampire-y type dude.
Dan Flacky, is
Good
that
Lord.
one? Yeah. So we're going to have a look at each of the characters and just sort of see what they offer.
Yes.
For the players. We'll start
Yes.
with Jim, I guess. Jim's the leader.
He is your leader dude. You remember the Mythos cards. We're going to have a squiz at that.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got a move 4, charge 7, and then his defenses are all 7s and 8s.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
His combat defense is quite high, so he's...
an 8 for combat defense. Pretty full on combat wise there.
What's quite good is that being a leader, he gets an extra action, so he's got 3. And he can actually use a mythos called Give Orders for 1. So he can basically grant Vigor to a friendly model.
And Vigor gives you another
action.
Yeah.
So he's quite good. If you have him at the centre, supporting all the other troops around him, stay within 8 inches, he's really good.
Yeah. And that extra action can come in very, very, very handy. That gives you a charge and then a free hit, or a hit to kill someone and then charge away, or whatever. Stuff like that. It does come in handy. He's got a decent sanity of 7, generates 2 myth, and has 18 wounds, and his 2 attacks are pretty full on.
They are, yeah.
Handgun at a +7, 10-inch range, and causes bleed.
Bleed, which, we like. Bleed's cool.
We like bleed.
Get those wounds down.
I think there's a few of them that cause bleed in here.
Well, the girls that we're going to get to, they're all they all carry pistols pretty much, or rifles or machine guns or whatever.
Yeah.
So having range, they have quite a few ranged capabilities. Yeah.
And he's got claws, which is not standard police issue, I don't think.
No, that's right.
But that's +8 in base combat and causes blind.
Yeah.
And he's got his Give Orders ability, but he's also got Cuff 'em, which I quite like. I like the idea of that. So this model may apply the fatigue condition to a single engaged enemy model.
Yeah, that's pretty good actually.
And fatigue basically costs you an action, doesn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So the first thing you have to do is get rid of fatigue. And that costs you an action.
And you can't do it if you're in combat. So he does it to someone who's in base contact with him.
Yeah. So unless they somehow manage to get out of base contact without actually activating, which is possible, it's not necessarily very easy, but it's possible, then they can't rid that. They have to have a friend come in and undo the handcuffs, I guess.
Like essentially, that's what it is.
But you can't do it if they're engaged, can you?
No.
No.
If you're engaged, you can't clear any conditions. So he's stacking them on while you're touching his base and stuff.
Yeah, so he's granting his friends within 8 inches extra actions, and he's costing anyone who engages with him an action. I mean, he has to spend a myth point to do it, but
yeah,
even I've come around to the idea that you have to spend myth points, really. I don't like making rolls for things, but you need to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's another good thing, actually. He's got the reassuring presence. So any allies within, I think it was 12 inches?
12 inches,
12 inches. So they get +1 to their sanity rolls.
Well, they get it to their statistic.
Oh, the statistic. Oh,
yeah. So their sanity
better.
statistic goes up by 1. So it doesn't actually modify the roll. It makes their ability go up, which is
that's pretty good.
Interesting. Yeah. He's got regenerate as well, which is 1 myth point and gets him 2 wounds back, which is very, very cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen one that just basically does that.
No, I think like
the grubs or something that get regenerate or something
for
like
Cryptus or whatever.
Cryptus, yeah,
yeah. They have something like that, but
just flat pay a myth and get 2 wounds.
Get 2 wounds back. Yeah, regeneration's pretty cool. I think there's a couple of them in this faction that can actually do that.
Yeah,
and when they flip as well, if we flip him over,
yep, up on there. He's up on there.
So he will actually heal when he flips over as well. He loses the ability to spend Mythos to heal himself, but I think he does actually heal when he flips over.
Oh yeah, so Blessing of Belial. When this model flips, it regains 2 wounds.
Yeah.
Okay. So he hasn't actually got many abilities like under his attacks and Mythos abilities. He's got leader, he's got reassuring presence, and he's unique, so you can only take 1.
Yeah.
And then he's got leader, Blessing of Belial, and then he's got unique. So that's it. But his stats change just a smidge.
I think some of them drop a bit, but I think the actual chance to roll to hit with his attacks improve a bit. He gets a bit angrier.
Yeah, he gets... Well, his handgun goes down, but his claws go up.
Yeah.
His range defense and his arcane defense go down. His combat defense stays the same. But he also he loses his other myth abilities and gains unbridled rage. So this model gains +1 to combat attacks until the end of its activation for 1 myth point.
Yeah, so in close combat, he's improved, and then he can do that, make him even better.
So he does that, and he's adding 10 to his claw attack. So that's nice. That's pretty good.
That's very nice.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah. I do like him. He's pretty cool.
As far as leaders go, he's not bad. He hasn't got many funky abilities, but the ones that he has are pretty cool.
Yeah, but I mean, he assists everybody else around him, so that's quite handy. That's what a leader does, I guess. So.
Well, that's the point. He's the centre of the unit, really, isn't he? The heavy of the unit is this gentleman here.
Yeah, Dan Flack. He's come out the worst looks-wise from his... he's really embraced the bat look, hasn't he?
Yeah.
What's that guy? Who's that guy from Marvel? Mobius or something?
Mobius?
Turns into the big bat or something.
Does he?
I don't know. Yeah,
wow.
Apparently. Yeah. I hope they bring him out.
I have to keep up with
the
Marvel
prices.
more obviously.
Yeah. Cool. But yeah, so this guy here. He doesn't have any ranged attacks. He is purely close combat, but he does it very well.
He's got a good solid move. Charge is the same, and his combat and range and arcane defenses are the same as Jim.
Yeah. Tough nut. But he can increase his charge and movement.
Yeah, so he's got the sprint ability, which I think we've seen before.
Yes.
So the model gets +2 to move and charge actions for the remainder of this activation.
That's handy.
He's also got sonar. He went full bat.
Yeah.
So this model does not need line of sight to enemy models in order to declare them as the target of a charge.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to spend a myth point to do it, but
that's okay.
With a 7, possibly 9 charge, the ability to charge things that you can't technically see is kind of useful.
It is very useful. I mean, you should have a lot of terrain on your table to really have a good game of Mythos.
Yeah.
So that ability is very good.
Yeah. This is one of the games where a lot of terrain on the table is a good thing. But yeah, that's really, really good. For what he is meant to do, that's a brilliant thing. So he causes fear. He's unique. He has Survivor, which I don't know if I've seen that before.
It reduces damage.
Any non-condition damage suffered by this model is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 1.
Yeah, so you wail on him and he sort of doesn't feel it as badly. It's quite good.
Yeah, that's not bad. And that's any non-condition. So things like bleed and that will
still do it.
Will still do their minimum. But anything else, you're reducing by 1.
Yep.
So arcane damage,
yep,
range damage, combat damage.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good, yeah.
That's pretty good.
And he's quite nimble as well. Like any sort of jump tests and things like that, he tends to pass those. Because he's got his little wings on his arms.
Things. He's got like semi-wing stuff there. Yeah. So yeah, he automatically passes jump and fall tests.
That's handy.
From any height.
Yeah, that is very handy. I think he just gets a bit angry when you flip him. I mean, he heals. Yeah. I think he heals. Yeah.
He's got that Blessing of Belial as well. So he does the same thing that Jim does. The range and the arcane go down, but his close combat abilities go up. He keeps his sprint and loses his sonar for unbridled rage, which is the same as that one.
Yeah, to hit harder.
He gets the blessing, so he gets his 2 wounds back. He still has survivor.
But he loses his mind a bit, I think, when he flips.
He
sort of goes into
He isn't focusing on his like actual thing anymore. It's called loss of control. So
that should give you some idea.
When this model flips, it immediately makes a combat attack against the closest engaged model. If there is more than one model engaged, you may choose which to attack. This attack gains a -2 modifier to the roll. This model then gains the paralyzed condition.
Yeah, so there is a downside to it, but I mean a free attack could be nice.
He flips when he flips.
Yeah, he flips. That's right. He flips right out.
He flips right out, and then he just sits there and goes, nope.
But that's why you have your other characters nearby to remove those conditions. Like if he's engaged 1-on-1 and that free attack knocks him out, you can
move somebody else in
and just
get rid of that condition.
Paralyze,
and I mean technically give him another action for next round if you want to.
That's right.
And just move him up. And with a 5 move and a 9 charge, 7 move, 9 charge, if he had sprint, the extra action could make that seriously nasty.
Yeah, he's very cool. He is very cool. I like him.
All right. So next in the squad is what looks like the heavy.
Oliver Driver.
Oliver Driver.
George, when he was painting up these models, he said this was the favourite one.
Oh, he liked this one,
did he?
He liked
this guy, yep. Just an angry beat cop walking the beat with a big cigar. And a
big cigar and a big stick. He knows
the streets. He's going to clear them up. Makes sense that he's cool. Part of the group.
Yep. So he's a little slower than the other two, but basically the same as Jim. So 4 and 7 for move and charge. He's got 7s for combat and range defense and a 6 for arcane defense. He's got 6 sanity and generates 1 myth.
Yeah,
14 wounds.
So not a lot of myth that he provides, but he's quite solid when you use him.
I think pretty good. Everybody else only generates 1 myth. So the first 2 guys generate 2 myth each, and the rest of them only generate 1.
Yeah.
Which still isn't bad. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 myth.
Yeah.
You're doing all right.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
So he's got 2 weapons. He's got a handgun,
Yep.
which causes bleed, as you can imagine, and he's also got a truncheon, which causes fatigue. So he beats the crap out of you and you just go...
Yep. And he can also do the cuff ability that
is very
Jim had
handy
as well. So you can hand out the fatigue condition to people that are in close combat with you.
Yeah, he is a bit of a combat guy. So you get in there and just, if they start sort of piling up on him and he gets to activate, attack multiples with that truncheon, use that mythos. Yeah, really, really, really good. Very handy.
So you've got kind of a close combat special and a range special and then a super range special. But and he's got tough as nails as well. So any non-condition damage suffered by this model is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 1. Yeah. So they've called it something different, but it's basically
the same thing. Yeah.
Let's flip him over and have a look. His range defense goes down by 1. All the other stats stay the same. He flips out a bit as well. So his handgun goes down by 1, so it's a +6 instead of a +7, but his truncheon goes up.
Yep.
He gets the blessing, so he gains 2 wounds when he flips, and he keeps his tough as nails, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Bit of free healing, and gets stronger in close combat.
And he'll get stuck in close combat and start hurting people.
Who we got next?
Florence
Delaney.
Florence Delaney is the young lass there with the Tommy gun at the front.
The sexy redhead with the Tommy gun.
I like her.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love a sexy redhead with a Tommy gun? I love them.
Ta-da.
Alrighty, so Florence Delaney. Only a 4 and 7, which is basically standard human moves.
Yep.
More range defense than combat and arcane, so 6, 7, and 6. 6 sanity. I think they all have 6 sanity and 14 wounds, so we can probably ignore that now. She carries a Tommy gun.
Yep.
Which is a 12-inch range with a +7 and causes bleed.
Yep.
So that's three people so far that are causing bleed.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all pistols, isn't it? It's all guns and...
Well, her knife causes bleed as well. So
she's ready to go. She's quite nasty.
And she has the Let It Rip ability, which is for 1 myth you can make your Tommy gun ignore cover.
Which is nice. It is really nice,
that's actually pretty handy. It doesn't sound like much, but it's actually pretty handy.
Well, if someone's behind the hardcover, that is really good.
That's, what is that, a +2 to your defensive thing, right?
Yeah.
And that will ignore that modifier. You don't get it anymore. It doesn't matter if there's heavy, light, how much cover's in between you and her. If she uses that myth point, it's all ignored.
She's emptying the clip at you.
Yeah, she's letting it rip.
Next to you.
She also has the undercover ability. So this model may only be the target of an attack if it's within 8 inches of the attacking model.
Yeah.
So she's got kind of a stealthy sort of thing going on.
That's right. She's unassuming until she whips out this giant gun.
She's just a cute redhead until she goes... And then you go, oh my god! So, what does she get when she flips? So, combat defense goes up, her range defense goes down. Her Tommy gun, you lose 2 points on the Tommy gun.
Yeah.
That's nasty. They all kind of flip to closer combat focus when they flip over here. So
that's the influence of Belial.
Yeah,
in, it just
kind of wants to get in and go, you know what? Just rip them up. Who cares? So she loses 2 whole points off her Tommy gun attack, but she gains 1 on her knife.
Yeah, which is good actually.
Which is pretty good.
It was pretty average.
And really, if you're flipping, a lot of the time you're going to be in close with people by the time you flip anyway.
Yeah, true.
Because the range attacks it's difficult to get them to go off, but once you get in close combat with some of these boys, you're flipping people all over the place. So it's quite possible that you're going to need the extra points on a close combat when you do flip. She gets the blessing, so she gets her 2 wounds back, and she gains the spray and pray. Loses undercover, gains spray and pray. So when this model makes a Tommy gun attack, it may target a second enemy model as long as it is within 2 inches of the initial target. The attacker makes 1 attack roll and all defenders roll against that total. Mythos effects are applied to all targets with the expenditure of 1 point of myth or for free if the attack roll is a critical. So she rolls 1 attack against up to 2 targets within 12 inches of her if they're within 2 inches of each other.
Yep.
They both have to roll against that attack.
Yep.
And if she gets a critical, they both get bleed, or she can spend 1 myth point to give them both bleed.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which you would.
Which you would. Obviously. I mean, she's already insane. Why not just keep going? That's pretty solid.
She is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
And her madness, I think, was 3. So that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Not too bad, I think.
Another one with a madness of 3 is Maria Marquez, the sniper lady at the front here.
Yeah. So isn't a Tommy gun? It's more like
just a rifle.
Just a rifle. Basically.
Yeah. Kind of a longer range, more precise weapon. Not really a sniper rifle, just a rifle. She's got pretty much the same stats as Florence, I think, to start with. Yep.
Yeah.
And when she flips, I think, yes,
It's the same thing.
Same thing.
But I do like her Mythos.
Yeah.
It's very handy.
Her rifle is a +7 attack at 15 inches that causes bleed. But if she uses this myth ability for 1 myth, precision shot gives her +1 to range attacks until the end of the activation.
15 inches is very generous. That's a long range.
That's a long range on the tables that you're playing. Even 12 is decent,
Yeah, true.
but 15 is a good solid range. And having a +1, you spend that myth point at the beginning, plug a couple of people with your rifle from 15 inches away with a +1, so you're rolling and adding 8.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
But having that undercover with that range.
Yep. Yeah, so she's got the
Really
same
handy.
as Florence, where you can't attack her within 8 inches. You have to be within 8 inches to attack. So if she's out at her 15 or like 10 or 12 or something, then she's at the back undercover going.
That's right. Get her to stand on top of a car or something so you can see over everybody. Start taking pot shots.
Find a little hill where she can see everything.
Yeah.
She's like super flips out when she flips because she basically throws her gun away. The only attack she has left is her claws, which are a +7 and cause blind, and she gets the blessing, which is receiving 2 wounds when you flip. And that's it. That's all she's got. She loses her brain completely.
Yeah. It's fun.
So yeah, if you want any range attacks out of her, don't let her flip, because it's not going to end well for you.
I mean, if you roll well, it's not really an issue. But yeah,
No.
if you start getting like two points of like madness or whatever, then you're just like, oh.
Well, that she's got a limit of 3, so you can fail your precision shot Mythos sanity check thing 3 times and then flip.
Yeah.
But if you keep making that, then I would keep using it.
Definitely.
Because it's pretty good. But yeah, when she does flip, you want to run her in there and hit things. Storm and Shadow, though.
So they're the last ones. They are identical as far as rules.
But they are not identical as far as the thing. See, so because on the back of the box here it says that one is Shadow, this one is Storm. Did you remember?
It's a quiz.
All right. So they are, yes, basically the same. So they've got a move and a charge of 5 and 8, which is pretty good. Charge of 8 isn't bad. Combat defense is 7, and the RD and AD are 6. They both have 5 sanity and generate 1 myth and have 11 wounds. They both have the same bite attack, which is a +7 at base that causes bleed.
So you've got lots of bleed again, which makes sense because dog teeth.
Yeah, but it has they both have Release the Hounds, which is a 1 myth ability. So when this model activates, it may spend 1 myth to gain the ability to re-roll all the dice rolled for 1 combat attack this turn.
That's really, really good.
That is really quite handy.
Really good.
I can see that working quite well in some games. I mean, just in the limited pool of games that we've played, I think being able to re-roll any dice you want at least once would be solid.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like much.
Because you get to see what your opponent rolls first before you do the re-roll. I believe so. So that's really good there.
So if you keep these guys near the leader, near Jim, then you can apply the vigor so they can put their 1 myth point in and keep doing attacks. And if they have 1 attack that goes badly, then you've got Release the Hounds there already done, and you can go, right, well, I'm going to re-roll this one.
Yep.
So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. They're both unique, and they both have Man's Best Friend. So this model must be the target of any combat attack made by an enemy model it is engaged with.
Yeah.
So if you've got all of these guys crowded around someone, or there's 2 or 3 of them there, and one of these dogs is in there as well and engaged with that enemy, they have to attack the dog first. It's kind of that run up and grab the arm thing they teach the police canines. It's a distraction thing. It's a focus the attacks on me because I'm going to hurt you otherwise, and leave the police people alone.
That's right.
It's it's a thing.
That would be quite handy to protect the girls, actually.
Yeah.
Because if they're starting to get threatened, you just run a dog in there and just
that means that they've got that time to like kind of get out of the situation without flipping over and losing their range ability altogether.
Yeah.
In this particular instance.
I think they're useful for everybody. If one of your characters is getting wild on a bit, just send the dogs in.
Yeah, I think they might have a misprint on this one.
What's that?
You've got a 5/9 there and a 6/9 there. I think that should be a 6.
That's interesting. Okay, check that.
I think it should be a 6.
That's the latest ones.
Yeah.
Interesting. We'll find out.
Yeah, I would say it should be a 6 because they start at 5/8, and Storm here, his sheet goes up to 6/9. So I'm assuming that Shadows will go up to 6/9 as well.
Yeah, I think.
They're supposed to be identical. Everything else stays the same. Their bites stay the same. Their stats stay the same. It's just increased movement, and they lose the Release the Hounds ability.
But they don't get to heal like everybody else.
No, they don't get the blessing, which is a bit unfortunate. I think you should have blessed the dogs as well. In fact, I think you should have blessed them first.
Yes.
Look how cute they are.
Because, dogs.
Dogs.
So there we go. I really like this faction. I really do. They've got a good feel to them. They will work in... Well, there's the other scenarios. A lot of the scenarios we played is just go head to head sort of thing.
Yeah.
But there's enough models in there that you can play some of the other scenarios, like take different areas and things like that. You'll have enough models.
But even in the combat focused scenario, I can see these guys doing quite well.
Yeah.
Given the right approach to using the models and stuff, keeping everybody in the right spots, keeping everybody doing what they're supposed to be doing. I can see them doing really well.
Yeah.
Even against some of the nastier ones. I reckon they're pretty cool. I like it. And George has done a really good job on the paint. So
yes, they have a lot of character, don't they?
They would be awesome to play with. They'd be great.
Brotherhood of Belial. There we go.
Quality, guys. Quality.
Thank you for watching. If you like these videos, consider subscribing and check that little bell so you get notifications of when a new video comes up.
Freaks me out every time we do this. YouTube stuff. Do it all.
Do all that. Everyone knows. But so join us for our next video when we're going to talk about the Adani.
Yes.
The Adani.
Yes, the Adani. I think they're the last faction to do one.
That's right. The Carney folk with a bit of interesting responsibility and powers and stuff. They're very
my
cool.
kind of people.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye, guys.